Dear viewers, and welcome to a new edition of Africa Today. In today's edition, we are going to shed light about the performance of the African economy. But we'll start with this report where a high-profile Sudanese business delegation is visiting Egypt to discuss the developments over the controversial Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam. Officials said the meeting discussed the course of the bilateral relations between the two sides, as well as ways to promote them in all fields. More details follow.
Sudan's Lieutenant General Shamsuddin Kabashi, a member of the Sovereign Council of Sudan, and his delegation held talks in Cairo during the weekend. Officials said that during the talks, Sisi affirmed his stance towards Sudan, saying this stance stems from the historic ties between the two peoples of the Nile Valley. The Sudanese high-profile delegation included Minister of Culture and Information, Director of the General Intelligence Authority, Transitional Sovereignty Council Secretary General, and Sudanese ambassador to Cairo. The meeting discussed the course of bilateral relations between the two sides and ways to promote them in all fields, as well as the current regional issues of mutual concern. El-Sisi voiced his aspiration to continue cooperation and coordination with Sudan regarding all files of mutual concern. Also, the meeting discussed the overall regional issues in the Horn of Africa and the Nile Basin regions. Lieutenant General Kabashi praised Cairo's stances, which he said aimed to preserve Sudan's stability during the current transitional phase. Officials said Lieutenant General Kabashi reviewed the latest developments concerning the clashes along the border between Sudan and Ethiopia and the latest developments regarding the issue of the Renaissance Dam. They said they agreed on the importance of continuing mutual coordination and intensive joint consultations.
To shed more light on the performance of the African economy, we are very much delighted to have with us our economic expert, Mr. Raouf Ghaffar. Mr. Ghaffar, good afternoon to you, sir.
Good afternoon to you, my dear.
Mr. Ghaffar, many African countries did begin officially trading under a new continent-wide free trade area after months of delays, caused, of course, by the repercussions of the COVID-19 pandemic. How do you expect the deal to reflect on the economies of Africa?
Well, I mean, COVID-19 had an impact, negative impact over everybody. And Africa is not an exception. So we have seen that a lot of development strategies and projects have been delayed. Some of them have been completely forgotten due to the fact that the economies and economic situation in most of the African countries could not sort of resist the repercussions of the pandemic. But anyway, we are seeing now that things are slightly getting better as far as Africa is concerned.
Yes.
And hopefully, a lot of African states will catch up, and we should be witnessing an improvement in the African economy very, very soon, inshallah.
So, Mr. Ghaffar, actually, this agreement will boost trade while allowing the continent to develop its own value chain. How long would it take for these aims to be achieved, from your point of view?
Well, mind you, Africa is aiming at a full African Union in about 40 years. So things take time. These cannot be achieved overnight. And so we have to start. I think we have made a very good start some years ago. We are following the path very carefully and very systematically, and agreement after agreement, free trade agreements, free passage of goods between African countries, the building of maritime lines, the building of roadways between different countries. I mean, these are all ways and means to bring the different African countries nearer to each other, and hence will make it more easy for them to exchange goods and services. And so, I mean, steps are being implemented, very sort of well studied, and I think that we are seeing meeting after meeting. I think the president today is meeting some African high echelon people regarding talking about the enhancement of this. So anyway, I mean, once again, steps are being taken and followed, surely, slowly but surely,
yes,
towards the achieving of, hopefully, the aim of having a full African Union.
Indeed. Mr. Ghaffar, on the other hand, some experts are viewing the launch as largely symbolic, with full implementation, saying that the deal would take actually years. How far do you agree or disagree with this opinion?
I do that. I do agree. I mean, the idea and the essential thing is that we are on the right track. And this is what matters. Let it take as long as it takes, but as long as we are achieving our goals, this is very important. So I cannot agree more with the experts saying that it will take time, but let's wait and see. But I'm sure it will achieve the required goals, inshallah.
Yes. Sir, actually the African Continental Free Trade Area aims to bring together 1.3 billion people in a $3.4 trillion economic bloc that will be the largest free trade area since the establishment of the World Trade Organization. How optimistic are you about the AFCFTA?
I am very optimistic about Africa. We know Africa is a rich continent, badly exploited, but it has a lot of unexploited or badly exploited resources, and even some of them are not even discovered yet. So I'm sure that we have all what it takes, I'm talking Africa, to launch this program. And so we will do it. It will take, as I said, a lot of effort, but it is on its way, and I'm sure that Africa will see a lot of improvement as far as economy is concerned. As the free trade agreement again will play a huge role in enhancing the inter-African trade movement, and I am sure it will be excellent for the whole continent.
Yes. Mr. Ghaffar, how can the obstacles such as the red tape, the poor infrastructure in many African countries, as well as the entrenched protectionism of some of its members be overcome for the deal to reach its full potential?
I tell you, I mean, we have always been facing a lot of challenges, and we have managed to overcome most of them, and we are fighting to overcome what's left. We have so many things that Africa suffered from, and we are trying to remedy them one after the other. So I am positive that we will continue doing that, and we will eventually overcome challenges by cooperating, by exchanging expertise, by helping countries to establish their infrastructure projects. I mean, there is a lot to be done in order to achieve this goal, and I'm sure we will do it, and we will not spare time or effort or money to do it.
Yes, indeed. Sir, the trade under the AFCFTA was actually meant to be launched on the 1st of July, but of course it was pushed back after the COVID-19 made in-person negotiations impossible. How do you expect coronavirus to further impact the deal?
Well, unfortunately, this coronavirus thing is unpredictable. I mean, every time we feel things I mean, we're surprised by a new wave. So let's hope and pray that it comes to an end soon, and like all other diseases that we've experienced over the last years. And so, I mean, unexpected circumstances, of course, caused unexpected delays, but I am sure that things will get better, and one way or the other, we will assume our effort and we will continue. And this should be a very unexpected delay, but hopefully it comes to an end very soon.
Indeed. Sir, an annex to the deal outlining the rules of origin, an essential step for determining which products can be the subject to the tariffs and the duties, has not yet been completed. How would this impact the implementation of the agreement?
You see, everything has an impact. And as I said, and I repeat it all the time, as long as we identify what we want and know how to go, how to reach it, this is the most important thing. Regardless of the time it takes, as long as the goal is on its way, this is what matters. So regardless, identifying or not identifying today or tomorrow, but I mean, we're on the right path, and all the efforts are being done to join hands and sort of reach a much better Africa. And this is exactly what we will do, and hopefully we will not have any hurdles that will put us up.
Indeed, Mr. Raouf Ghaffar, our economic expert, many thanks for being with us. Always a pleasure to have you with us, sir. And moving on with our program, where directives were issued to establish an integrated city for the gold industry in Egypt. More details in the following story by Sameh Sharif.
El-Sisi gave directives to establish an integrated city for gold industry in Egypt. His spokesman, Bassam Radi, said he asked for providing all financial resources to establish the city with the international and modern standards and technologies to reflect Egypt's ancient civilizational history. He also asked for considering the best logistical aspects in terms of choosing the location of the city for easy access to receive visitors. Ranked sixth among Arab peers in gold holding with 77.4 tons, Egypt is land-rich in gold, as it is situated on the Arabian-Nubian Shield, and rich gold deposits are found throughout the region. At present, gold production is concentrated in 3 sites across Egypt's eastern desert: Sukkari Mountain, Hamash and Wadi al-Alaki, while the Egyptian Mineral Resources Authority (EMRA) says the precious metal is present in 120 ancient sites, from old mines to other areas, all in the eastern desert. Nevertheless, Egypt has few gold mining activities, with only one gold production mine currently under operation, the Centamin-owned Sukkari mine.
The African Free Trade Area chief is to visit Cairo over creating a unified African market having an effective role in the global trade arena. More details in the following story.
Egyptian ambassador in Accra, Ahmed Hanna, held an expanded coordination meeting with Secretary General of the African Continental Free Trade Area, AFCFTA, Wakele Mene, to discuss preparations for Mene's visit to Cairo. During his visit to Egypt, the AFCFTA Secretary General is set to hold a series of key meetings pursuant to the African Free Trade Agreement, which is brought into effect as of the beginning of 2021. During the meeting, Mene said he is pleased that Cairo would be the first African capital to visit in conjunction with efforts to bring into effect such an ambitious agreement, which he said Cairo has played a major role to activate during its chairmanship of the African Union. He expressed his keenness to cooperate with the Egyptian side to create a unified African market, having an effective role in the global trade arena. He also expressed his gratitude for Cairo's significant support to the agreement and its affiliate newly formed secretariat. The Egyptian ambassador, for his part, welcomed Mene's visit to Cairo, which he said helps serve the sustainable development goals in Africa.
And our dear viewers, with that we come to the end of this edition of Africa Today, brought to you live here from our studios in Nile TV International. Till tomorrow with another crew. It's goodbye.